Okay, so what happens when Amber has an amazing idea and you're not really sure how it's going to work? That must happen sometimes, does it?
Yeah.
A lot. Well, I think for the most part, it's for me. I'm an engineer by trade, and so Microsoft Excel, numbers, equations. I'm just like, hey, this is what this looks like. This is what's going to happen if we do X, Y, Z.
He's like, prove demand for the product. I'm like, but it's beautiful. And people would love it, you know?
Yeah. And so we kind of take those two approaches to it. And I've learned that I come from a hosting background. I consider myself a great host. Hosting is actually what I think played a part in our own personal love story in terms of bringing her to me, because I was that guy. But, you know, in terms of approaching the industry as a whole, I've learned to like kind of trust her intuition a little bit. And some of it's numbers based and some of it is just like what makes sense for the people that we serve. And so, you know, with our kind of dual approach, we kind of approach it, and we both believe that as long as both of us have the buy-in, that's the direction we go. So.
Okay, that's so beautiful. And how is that similar or different from how you navigate things in your marriage?
So in terms of like when we're making business, it actually has a lot of similarities. But I like to keep the concepts of our marriage and like us being in business together. I like the idea of it being mutually exclusive. But what I've found, when you are in business with your spouse, and especially when things start to kind of scale and become a big deal, because I don't think we ever really saw this happening when like we were first starting it. You have to embrace somewhat of the overlap. There's no way to not have a little bleed over. You know, nobody's like, I'm really mad at you, but I'm putting on my business hat now, and you know, we're gonna have this really so you're not gonna.
That's why I was having so much trouble answering this question, because I was like, I don't see them as separate. I know that's kind of weird, but it's like business is family and family is business.
Oh, I don't think it's weird at all. In fact, I was actually going to ask next, why would you want to keep them separate? Not as a challenge, but just as an inquiry.
Well, I think that was my natural reaction, was because I wanted to be sure that, you know, hey, you're my number one priority. I would never do anything that would compromise our marriage or our union, even in the name of making money or having a really successful business. And even when you're starting off, like, disagreeing in business and then having a strong opinion and having to preface your statements like, hey, I'm not coming at you as a wife. I'm not coming at you as a mother. I'm really talking to you as a business partner. You suck right now, you know? And it's just like, it was just like, you try that and it kind of works because it's coming from a genuine place. But as you start getting further down the road, if your business starts, you know, to really have legs and it starts to consume more and more of your life and time, I don't find it that's sustainable anymore. But the understanding is there that when if one of us offers criticism to the other, it's not a general across the board criticism of you. This is like, for this and what we're trying to accomplish right here, this isn't working for me, or I'd like to do something different, or this makes me feel a certain way.
I think the biggest thing that contributes us to like working in business together so successfully is our communication. So just like any other couple, we argue, you know, we're not always seeing eye to eye, but one thing we do is we just come together and we talk about it, even if it's in its rawest form. I'm like, hey, I wasn't able to, you know, do X, Y, Z because I had to put the kids to bed. And then he peed on himself and I had to give him a bath, you know, and so it's like real life happens. But in business, no one cares if your child peed on themselves and you had to bathe them and all that. So it was really difficult for me because I would constantly just defend myself with things I have to do. But at the same time, I had to find a way to kind of balance it out. But then also once Mark started communicating to me, letting me know like, hey, like I'm not, you know, judging you for certain things that aren't, you know, I really enjoy cooking and doing things like, you know, more of the homemaking things around the home. And so because our business has been going so well, I haven't been able to, I'm just going to, you know, be honest, I haven't been able to cook as much as I would like to. And so I thought like that expectation, my high expectation on that was the same for him. But come to find out, he's just like, I see the hard work you're doing in the business and I totally get it. Can we just go out for pizza and you just like chill, you know? And so like once we start talking about these things, and when I'm frustrated, just telling him like, why are you mad? Oh, well, I have this expectation. It's like, well, no, let's honestly look at our life. We're in a season right now. Let's adjust our expectations so we don't go crazy, you know? So I think that has really helped us be fluid in both our personal lives and business, just constantly talking. And some people might see it as like over communication, but it really works for us. We talk about everything and all of our feelings and like what's going on. So there's never any like surprises with us. We know exactly where we are emotionally with each other.